Hello friends, if you ever wanted to set up a file server, chances are you're gonna set up something like an FS server, FTP server, or Samba server. But there is this protocol known as AFP. It's related to Apple somehow, and there is this piece of software which is Netatalk, and it's based on that. It uses Apple filing protocol as a protocol for setting up the server and the clients. So if you want to set it up, you can look for the package. You will probably find it in the official repositories of your Linux system. Like for example, here I have OpenSUSE. I can simply install it by running sudo zipper in Netatalk, like this. The password, I believe it exists in almost any distro. Sometimes it's in the third party repository, like the user repository. For example, for Arch Linux, it's in the AUR, as you can see with this suffix here, if we can say, or this sign here. You can find it also on Ubuntu. You can simply use the command that you install any package on your system to install Netatalk. I can say, for example, sudo dnf install Netatalk for Red Hat based distros, sudo apt install for Debian based, sudo merge Netatalk for Gentoo, and for the AUR you have two ways: uppercase S Netatalk, or git clone aur.arch.linux.org/netatalk.git. After you run this command, you go cd netatalk like this, and then you run make pkg-si, and the application will be installed on your system successfully so far. The next thing you need to do is to go to the configurations. I took a look on some of the wiki pages for Netatalk, like for Arch Linux and Gentoo, this one, and saw like the different configurations. For example, maybe Arch wiki goes a little bit deeper, and I tried some of the configurations here and they worked. Eventually I got something like what you're gonna see now. The configuration file for OpenSUSE and some other distros is within /etc/netatalk/afp.conf. It can be somewhere else, like for example for Gentoo it says that it's within etc directly. It's not within etc and another subdirectory within it. So I'm gonna show you my configuration file, and some of these things here mean some stuff. For example, this is the log file, the log level, the type of it. I don't know very much about this. I guess this one means for the global, for the guests, but for read only you add this to the file, but they will be only able to read it. And then if you want to make it like read and write for every share, for every share section, for like for example I have a share section which is within /mnt/storage/time machine. T and M are uppercase. I add rw list equals nobody, and that allows the clients to read and write without the need for any authentication. Of course, the configurations are much more than this. You can go to the documentations in the official website of Netatalk. The official website is netatalk.io. You can read about it, you can get deeper with it. Since there is so much more to know and to apply as configurations for Netatalk, the server software. The next thing you need to do is to start the service. After you configure your server the way you like, you should run the command sudo systemctl start Netatalk like this. You can enable it if you want, like this, and then you can check if it's running or not, like this. This is for systemd based distros. In general, Linux distros are mostly based on systemd, but sometimes you need to know the commands to start Netatalk for your distro. For example, for Gentoo, the command to start the service should be rc service Netatalk start as root for sure. So you not run this command to start the service, and then if you want to add it to the default run level, you should run rc update Netatalk add Netatalk and then default. But since I'm not using Gentoo here, this is my OpenSUSE machine, I get these errors. For you, if you're using Gentoo and your init system is OpenRC, these commands should run fine for you. After you run the services, you start the services, you need to have 2 ports enabled on your firewall. Of course, you need to, when you go to the configurations, you need to allow the networks or the IP addresses of choice. Like for example, for me, I enabled all the LAN IP addresses in case I used any of them. These are all the local IP addresses in almost any network. These are enabled for me. Okay, I do have if we check /mnt/storage, I have this path which is for Netatalk already. I didn't make it myself. I don't know if you need to, otherwise you may face some errors, I'm not sure. And just in case, you can make this directory as you can see. Alright, that's for the server. This server is available on the older macOS releases. I don't know which ones. You can simply go to the configurations in the system and enable the mount points, enable the folders to share, also configure the authentication, which I skipped in this video and I skipped it in my configuration since I wasn't able to do it. To be honest, I'm not that familiar with this piece of software. I just felt curious about it. I just wanted to share with you, and I'm still not that familiar with it. Otherwise, you can read about the configuration in order to set up the authentication successfully. For the client software, for the client, of course, you can connect to any server, whether it's Linux as, for example, Netatalk, or macOS, the older versions. The piece of software that I'm using is afpfs-ng, afpfs-ng. It's available on these distributions as well as FreeBSD. I tried it with Fedora, it didn't work. I keep getting errors about UAM, and I didn't solve the issue. And when I tried with Arch Linux, the package exists in the official repositories. It's in extra. Here it says that you need to enable the extra repository in /etc/pacman.conf. I don't remember that you need to do such thing. Otherwise, if you don't have it, simply add this to your configuration file. For AFPFS, right? Yes, AFPFS-ng. It's after you install it, it's something very similar to FTP, the command line tool. Simply you run afp-cmd-r and then afp : // and then the IP address of your server. In my case it's like this, and now it says that it's connected to the server localhost using no user authent. This is what I told you. I don't have any authentication set up, that's why it's like this. So here it says that you can specify a volume with cd volume, so we do cd time machine like this, and it says connected to volume time machine. If we do ls, we get something like dir and test. We can delete, for example, dir. Before we delete it, let me show you that such thing exists. We do like this. This is the server, and here is our dir, which is a directory. We can delete it if we want. I guess it needs to be with r. Okay, we can make a file. Let's call it made from client. And then if we check, for example, here we do ls mnt storage time machine, we can see that we have a new file which is made from client. We can go here and then let's make mkdir dir made from server, just to prove that whenever we run or whenever we create a new file or directory from a specific machine, whether it's the client or server, we can know it from the name, like this. Here we can see what we have already, ls. So we have a file which is made from client and a directory made from server, called like that. If we want to see all the available commands for our AFP client, we can run help. Here are the commands that we can run. We have delete to delete a file. We have rmdir. Let's try rmdir. And then we have our directory deleted, which was dir. Let's delete rmdir made from server. Okay, let's run ls. We have here, of course, we have the permissions, and we have our files and directories. If we check here again, we will see the remaining files that are not deleted. Alright, so that was how you set up an AFP client and server on your Linux machine. I hope it's clear. I hope I made no mistake here. The two are mostly command line based, for sure. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, share and comment, and peace.